Hello, Internet, and welcome to my live reaction for Heroes Chapter 9. When we last left our heroes, they had started their final assaults against Genesis, with Haru, Natsu, and Shiki going to fight Genesis himself, while the rest of the teams went to the heart of the island to find the true Oasis that they would destroy to get rid of Genesis's powers. They got held up by some shadow monsters, though, but Elie, Lucy, and Rebecca broke free to go to the center of the island where they found this really sparkly cave, and they found the Grand Master, who is still alive, and revealed himself as the god of creation, Mashymre, which is a little on the nose, Mashymre, who promised to tell them the truth of the island. And that's where we left off with we pick it up with Chapter 9, Illusion. We have here all the different Jalals. The top left we have Genesis. The top right is Jalal. The bottom left is Seacart, and the bottom right is Justice. So we pick up right where we left off with Mashymre. Long, long before now, in the distant past, 60 years ago. That's not that long ago. That's surprisingly recent. When he said long ago, I thought like 400 years or something. 60 years is a pretty long time ago. Ellie's maybe has something to do with their different societies' histories. Like, we know that the fairy tale is set in like the 790s, 780s I think at first, but then 790s at the end of the series. So 60 years is like not that much of their history. Not Rave Master, Eden Zero, a planet goes back and is like sent back in time 50 years ago, and it takes like a good little while before Shiki and Rebecca notice. But I don't know enough about Raid Master lore to know if 60 years is a long time in that history. But anyway, could you just be quiet and let me talk? There was a temple where the creator gods assembled, the Temple of Maga. The supreme god Lord George, the god of diamonds, Terra, the god of the fair wind, Seo, the god of Eros, Kai, and many other creator gods lived in this temple. Are these references to various mangaka? Possibly? I mean, Mashymre is like very clearly Mashymre, but I don't know enough about who these guys might be. As a youth, I too honed my divine creation there. One day, we came up with the idea that we would each write our own picture story. We all drew stories. And oh, what wonderful stories they were. We would read the stories, write new ones, and read again. Yeah, I have a feeling these are mangaka. And I feel like I have heard of a mangaka named George? Though I'm not sure. I think it's... I just kind of looked up, Hajime no Ippo's name, when I typed in George mangaka, the first was Joji Morikawa. But there was a George Akiyama who wrote a lot of things. A whole lot of things, which would fit with him being the supreme god. None of them I recognize, though. But maybe he's a big guy in Japan. Anyway, that's a distracting thing. Back to the plot. I found myself thoroughly obsessed with the act of spinning tales. The story of the silver-haired boy who sets out on a grand quest in search of holy stones. What? The story of a boy who wields fire magic and the guild to which he belongs. Wait, that's the story of a boy who controls gravity, traversing space and time. And Rebecca looks in shock, or in confusion. Also, fun fact, Mashymre is not in his 60s. He's 42. I just googled that. For a second there I was like, oh, is he 60? But no, he's in his 40s. Anyway, this all happened by pure chance, but if those three boys, no, if all of you feel connected in some way, then the stories I wrote may be to blame. I drew other stories, mountains of other stories. I created more than anyone, faster than anyone. The other creator gods noticed, and their worry was great. They said my present course may even destroy my health. This is super on the nose, Mashymre. That's a consistent worry with mangaka when they, sometimes write 3 chapters a week, like Mashymre can do sometimes. You know. Yeah. And yet I continued to draw. Day after day I drew. There was no stopping the creativity that overflowed within me. I continued to imagine until eventually my memories began to fail me. I had written so many stories, so many characters. I no longer knew which memories were mine and which were theirs. And Elie, who is an amnesiac, if my Rave Master memory is not failing me, responds, "It's hard losing your memories." One day, my creativity became creation. And this land, this true island, came into being. What? You mean the whole island? Yes. It all sprang from my imagination. The blue sea, the blue sky, the inhabitants living their peaceful lives. I worked with my disciple, using my creative powers to make the island thrive. It is all a figment of my imagination. I lost my memories and my creative powers ran wild. They made the island, they made its residents, they made me, they made my disciple. The source of creativity was given the name Oasis. And Rebecca stops him. Wait a minute, the stone, the Oasis, when did that get made? The stone is but another product of the creative powers. And Elie looks shocked at that. I told you the Oasis had already been found, didn't I? You can't mean the whole island is Oasis? In your world's terms, it is a giant dark brain. The Oasis continues to rage out of control. Genesis, too, is one of its creations. No one can stop it now. And Elie smiles. We'll stop it. And Mashymre looks at her shocked. We have Haru and everybody else. Besides, if the entire island is Oasis, Lucy smirks, then why don't we just destroy the whole thing? Impossible. But how? And Lucy just kind of sighs. Our guild can destroy anything. It's our specialty. And Rebecca thinks to herself, we could use the Eden Zero secret weapon. And Mashymre is shaking and kind of blushing. Oh no. Ladies, I don't know what to say. You all have such huge racks. Alright, I guess he really is Mashymre. And Elie kind of looks at her boobs. You think they're big? And Lucy just snaps at him. The huge dramatic lead-in, all for that? And Rebecca kind of covers herself. You're a real pervert, Ducky. Are large breasts really such a big deal? Oh boy, here they are. Isn't it a big butt that makes you a true scoundrel? Say hello to the infamous robbers of the Butt Jiggle Gang! And they have Plue! They just have Plue! Yeah, you tell them, boss! Plue! Nyaha, Machine Gun Girl, we heard the whole story. If Oasis is the island, we'll just take the whole kit and caboodle. And your little Plue, too. And Elie just says, of course! Plue! We have Plue! I love how little Elie cares about the Butt Jiggle Gang. Plue has the power to destroy dark brains. Maybe he can do it to the island. Okay, both Lucy and Rebecca are actually gonna take them seriously a little bit. And the leader is like, wait a minute, we just found Plue, and and Lucy and Rebecca just drive through them. Which is kind of weird because Rebecca especially is shooting an arrow at them, but somehow they're behind her now. I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. Poon! Plue's sent flying, but Elie grabs him. Plue, time for the you-know-what! Huh? Yeah! And Plue, so Elie had jumped into the air to grab Plue, and she throws him into the ground nose first. She threw him? And his nose hits the ground. Oh! And this light envelops, starts to emanate from where Plue cracked the ground. No! Genesis's power is too great! It refuses to be destroyed! And they all grasp hands. Let's send our magic to Plue. And Rebecca looks at them. Huh? I don't have any magic. And Elie comforts her. That's okay. I sent something like it in you, which is probably her ether. Which would mean this is it would have to be post Belial Goer, because there isn't really a whole lot of gap between Sun Jewel and Belial Goer in Eden Zero. So we're probably post the current point in the manga from Heroes. Anyway, back with the fight with Genesis. Genesis is caught up in the anti-gravity field still, right? Or is this Genesis right outside of it? I can't quite tell. Yeah, he's out. So he's outside of it, but they're pushing this giant ball towards him. They'll probably do a lot of damage. And Genesis, like, starts to, like, defend himself from it. And then the orb kind of disappears. You filth! I have but to imagine it. The power to surpass you all. 7 stars, pass your judgment. Grand chariot! Furthering the Jalal, in particular, similarities. Though I did learn, after last chapter that Sama is not just a Jalal spell, but it was also a part of, Seakar's repertoire and Raidmaster. But I can't really say much about that. So anyway, after Grand Chariot passes, the 3 of them still stand tall against Genesis. It didn't work? But why? And we see Elie, Rebecca, and Lucy are still powering up, Plue's Darkbring Destruction powers. Oasis's power is weakening? You're almost there. If you can beat Genesis, you can destroy Oasis. Poon! And Plue, like, really giving it his all. Haru, Shiki, Natsu! The 3 of them charge at Genesis again. The power of creativity is infinite! It has no limits! And the 3 of them ready up their final attack now. Or no, hold on. I think we missed a part. Because, so there's Genesis in the end of that panel. He's, like, really small in that panel. We didn't quite see him. But yeah, all their attacks went through, and given the power that the girls are putting into Plue, I'm guessing Genesis is done for. Because Genesis falls, his eyes are, like, whited out, the smoke is coming off him, he's down. On the 3 of them, Shiki and Haru look kind of, like, somber and, like, serious about this. Natsu's just kind of grinning. And the Oasis shatters. And that ends the chapter. So, yeah. This was a pretty good chapter. So let's break it down piece by piece, of course, like we always do. I'm still hoping, I think next week is the last week for Heroes, and I'm hoping we finally get some kind of connection as to why that face continues to appear throughout the Mashymre canon. Which was the kind of the implication by having Genesis show up here. Like, I'm not saying that we need to know, but if when Shinra transformed to not become a Jalal, I would not really need to know. It's just like a random, like, fun thing that Mashymre throws into a series. But because he specifically takes the Jalal form, and this thing here has all of the Jalals together, all the Siegs together, whatever you want to call them, I think that there has to be a reason for all of this at this point, right? We all agree about that? I think so. So I'm hoping next chapter, as Genesis is, like, dying, we'll find out something about why this face repeated across the universes, or the universe, if we're supposed to believe that they're all in the same universe now, which I'm not entirely sure. I mean, Eden Zero and Fairy Tail can kind of coexist on the same universe. I'm not entirely sure enough of I hear Raidmaster lore goes back to, like, the beginning of time or something, maybe, or the beginning of the world, so I'm not sure if those lores coincide. I don't know. If you're wondering why I'm rambling through this video so much, it is finals week, and I am very, very tired, so, it'll be like this for Eden Zero and Fairy Tail probably as well, later tonight, hopefully. But yeah, anyway, back to the actual chapter itself, at long last. So yeah, there is absolutely zero subtlety in Mashymre is Mashima. I'm not sure if, again, all the other gods are, like, clear references to, other mangaka. George, I suspect, might be, as I kind of googled mid-video. But the others are, like, names that, like, you don't expect to see a mangaka named George. So I can easily Google George mangaka and, like, find one. The others are Japanese enough that, like, it's not an immediate thing to find, I guess. I don't know. I imagine Kai is probably some kind of arrow mangaka, as she's the god of arrows. I'm not entirely sure what... Oh, Tara, we see the baseball. He's Ace of Diamond, I'm guessing. Right? Let me Google that for you, because everyone loves watching me Google. Yeah, Yuji Terajima is the author of Ace of Diamond. So that's an Ace of Diamond reference, I'm guessing. I'm not sure about God of the Fair Wind and Seo. I don't know if anyone knows. Is there just a manga called Fair Wind by Seo Koji? I just typed in Fair Wind Seo and it popped up. I'm not sure. Anyway. Oh, he's the Fuka guy. Alright. I just kind of thought that I was deleting the tab. Anyway, I'm going to focus for the rest of the video. I promise. No more Google searches. So yeah, it's very meta, which, like, a crossover is allowed to be, but, like, it's insanely on the nose. So your mileage may vary on that point. But then, of course, they promise they'll stop it, and the way they do that does, I think, make sense in it's very much like a lot of the lore of this series, of Heroes, baked into Rave Master lore, which, again, is not my specialty. But I'm aware enough that Plue destroys Darkbring, and if the island's a Darkbring, driving Plue into it like a drill, is probably the way to go. Yeah. So that all works. And then I do like that it ties into, that, like, it really is the 6 of them. The 3 girls, with Plue, and the 3 guys against Genesis, working together to beat Genesis. Even if, it does kind of lead into women in support roles, that someone could probably make a much more cogent argument about that than I could. Like casting a female characters like healers or whatever, and exclusively healers. Which they're not healers per se, but you know what I mean. But it works enough. It works enough. They are definitely, like, relevant to the fight. So yeah. All that to say, I did enjoy this chapter. A part of me wishes there was a bit more strategy in how Genesis went down. I think I might have liked it more if their initial goal, instead of having the island be Oasis, and Elie, Rebecca, and Lucy just use Plue to destroy Oasis, there had actually been an attempt to, like, steal if Genesis had the real Oasis the whole time, and they had to steal it from him in order to stop him, I think I would have liked that more than, he goes down because of stuff happening far away from him. But it gets the job done, I'd say. So yeah, I've rambled on enough, so I'm going to leave this video off here. Hope you all enjoyed the chapter and the video itself. If you did, look for me a like or subscribe, or, do whatever makes you happy, And remember, your life is your own, okay? Bye!